Like, I don't understand. What am I missing? What piece of this puzzle am I missing? In 2019, when I first started, I would do these really elaborate hair routines, and by the next day it was destroyed. And I'm watching all these other women walking around with this gorgeous hair, and I'm thinking, they must spend their entire lives doing their hair, right? The missing piece of that puzzle is that you can learn how to both preserve your hairstyle, but also all these tiny little tips and tricks so that you are just fixing the problem that you're having in the morning with your hair, rather than fully restyling your entire head of hair every single morning. Let's go through some of the most common pain points people experience when they're refreshing their wavy or curly hair and how I would fix each of those. For reviving limp or lifeless hair, water is your best friend. I like to lightly mist the hair, add refreshing sprays as a last resort. We'll talk more about that later. Try first just refreshing with a little bit of spray and then re-diffusing your hair. For a lot of people, that is gonna be enough to give that curl pattern a little revival and even a little boost to your volume. Another really great way to just add a little bit more like bounce and lift on looser curls that are struggling to hold is to mist with a little bit of water and go in with some hairspray. Let me show you. It helps the curl to freeze in that tighter curl while you're diffusing. And I find it gives me a slightly tighter curl pattern. Here's before, and then here is the after. The hairspray just gives that shine and extra hold. If your root volume is still looking a little lifeless, there are different products that you can add at the roots to add a little bit more volume just in that area. If you're finding you have loss of definition, I like to describe this as one or multiple areas of your hair starting to look poofy, you're lacking that individual curl pattern, that's when I am tempted to go in with additional product. This is Editing Gal, and I just wanted to add in that it is true that everybody's hair is a little bit different and that there are certain hair types that are just going to really struggle with refreshes if they do not add any product during the refresh. I guess what I'm trying to convey is that not all hair types require product during the refresh, and we shouldn't always default to adding product if we don't have to. You should start by experimenting with refreshes by water, because the less product that we add, the less frequently we will have to wash our hair. But it is true that some people ultimately are going to need more hold or frizz control during their refreshes, and a water refresh on its own simply will not be sufficient. You could use a refreshing spray here. You could also go in with something like a mousse, which is going to add great definition and hold. You could even water down a gel so that it applies a little bit more evenly to that area. It's typically a good idea to at least moisten the hair with a spray bottle before you add any sort of product to it. For best results, I also like to diffuse after as well. What if you have weighed down or greasy looking curls? By day 2 or 3, if your hair is looking weighed down and greasy, that is almost always an indicator that one or more of the products that you used on wash day are too heavy for your hair, or that it is overdue time for you to clarify with a clarifying shampoo. Food for thought for your next wash day. But how do we fix it in the meantime? I find the easiest way to address this is to fully resaturate and re-diffuse your hair. It dilutes the product that's already in your hair and will reduce the appearance of that heaviness and greasiness. So what do you do though if you have some really frizzy sections? If your entire head is super frizzy, we're gonna wanna go back and look to see either what went wrong on wash day, or should we look at doing something a little bit different with our sleep protection. But as far as the actual refresh, if the entire head is super frizzy, you might need to wet your hair, brush it, scrunch it, and re-diffuse. If you just have certain sections that are very frizzy, I would take the halo frizz and also take the curl that it belongs to. Pull it all together, wet just that section. Either use your fingers to smooth the frizz or use an actual brush, or you can brush curl it to really pull it all together and reshape that curl. You can either just let it air dry afterwards, or you can even diffuse. Stringy curls I'm going to address in kind of a similar way to frizzy. If we are super stringy, the first thing I'm gonna wonder is there something we did either with our wash day or our sleep protection that we should do differently moving forward? But now that we're here, water is going to really be the only way to bring all that together again. Hey, this is Editing Gal here. I just wanted to add in that I do find if you're really struggling with stringy hair, another option is to use a foam. I love the Brad Mondo Wave Tech foam for bringing together stringy hair. And it can also help to use like cream or moisturizing products during the refresh if you are really struggling with that stringiness. Did I miss a pain point that you have when you're refreshing your wavy or curly hair? Let me know.